sitting in for Mike. We're going to be joined right now by Barry Donadio. Barry, of course, Public Security LLC, a good friend, and I've known Barry since he started doing security work for Congressman Harris. As you might know, that only the leaders of Congress get federal protection. Other members of Congress have to provide their own. And now, this day and age, with some of the rage that's out there, it's become even more critical to make sure that our people that represent us are protected. Barry, welcome to the program. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. How are you this morning?
I'm great, Bill. Thanks for having me on again.
Okay, we got a lot of craziness going on right now. We're at a turning point in history, I think, without a doubt here. And, it's going to be interesting 20 years from now how people look back on this period of time. Barry, we've mentioned this before when you've been on the air with me that a lot of the Middle East media has found you and called on you for commentary on what's happening in the United States as it reflects on what's happening in the Middle East. I'm just curious right now, since the last time we talked, what kind of sense are you getting from these reporters that call you? I know you can get some kind of sense of where their head's at from the type of questions that they put forth to you. So, how do you see that?
Well, they're interested to know what our perspective is. The two cultures are kind of separated, as you can imagine. Americans don't understand a lot of what's going on in the Middle East and what is in the mind of many of the people as they don't understand us. So I try to bridge that gap and try to explain and articulate, how we're thinking and what I believe is going to happen. And, there's also, just like in American media, the media over there, sometimes attacks Donald Trump, and I'm spending a lot of time defending President Trump and his policies as well. But you never know what you're going to get. It depends on what channel you're on and which part of the Middle East. Some support the United States going into Iran. Others don't want it. It just is a roll of a dice and depends on who you're talking to over there.
Are you getting the sense from some of the reporters on their attitude, whether they're pro-American or anti-American? It sounds like from what you just said they are. What seems to be some of their concerns about America getting involved in this issue?
Well, as you can imagine, Gaza is the big issue that they have, and I'd spent quite some time, months going on talking about Gaza and the war, and trying to articulate and explain to them why Israel there and what's going on. And now moving with Iran, mostly it seems that the Arab world wants a change in Iran. It certainly looks that way, but you get up on these news networks and you're doing debates or you're with other professionals and other points of views. So it is quite interesting. And if there are any Arabic speakers, I recommend you listen to it. But we also put on our YouTube channel, we have it translated to English. So it is quite interesting, and we have some interesting times ahead of us in the next few days. And last time you and I spoke, we probably wouldn't think we would be right here watching Iran and Israel at full-scale war right now.
Well, I agree with you on that last point to a point, and that is about not believing that we would be here. I always kind of thought in the back of my mind, knowing Donald Trump the way we do, having followed him now for a dozen years, that he's not going to mess around. I mean, he's not going to, he's going to do what he says he's going to do. And he's been saying since before he ever decided to run for office the first time that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If it wasn't for the fanaticism of the current regime in Iran, I don't think the world would be as scared as they are, because obviously their stated objective is to eliminate Israel, and then to eliminate the United States, the great Satan, as they call us. So who's next after that? We saw this 70, 80 years ago, with the rise of the Nazis in Europe. Who's going to be next? And we saw a lot of the European leaders at that time try to appease Hitler. And, he just kept breaking promises and lying and doing what he wanted to do. And I see a lot of parallels in what's happening with the Ayatollah and what's happening in the Middle East right now. And I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, I think his time has run out. I think he's done, in my opinion. I think the decision's been made. This has been going on. You and I are old enough to remember 1979. I was 8 years old watching it on TV, wondering why the President of the United States didn't send the entire Marine Corps in there to put an end to it. It was kind of an embarrassment we didn't act when they took over our embassy and held American hostages. That's the same government. That's the same Iranian regime. And some of our younger listeners, they don't know that because they weren't alive at the time. But this regime, marched in our embassy, took hostages, wouldn't give them back. And then we led, unfortunately, a failed military campaign to try to rescue them, which ended up in catastrophe. But, if Donald Trump were there during that time, he would have sent everybody over there, and he would have taken a military action that they wouldn't have been able to recover from. So that's what I'm happy about. I'm happy that President Trump is not going to let the United States get pushed around. And when we say something, it means something. Just last administration, if we said something, it was looked at as a joke. Nobody took it seriously across the globe. Now, well, we have an attention getter in the White House, and every word this man says, it's national news. And a lot of people are jealous of that, and they don't like that, or they don't like the way President Trump gets the job done, but he gets the job done, and that's what's undeniable. So in this case, I believe, and what I've been telling the Arab media is that you watch when the Nimitz gets in position, USS Nimitz aircraft carrier, it's over there by Malaysia right now. But even before it could happen, but when that thing's in position over there close to Iran, you're going to see a massive U.S. air campaign against Iran. If it doesn't even start earlier than that, we already have the Carl Vinson right off the coast of Oman in striking distance of Iran, and now it's been reported that the USS Ford aircraft carrier, our best and newest one, just launched on its way. That'll take some time. It's off the coast of Virginia right now, so I don't anticipate that thing getting there for about 2 weeks, and maybe we'll be relieving one of the other two aircraft carriers. But this is no joke. The president's serious, and let's not forget all of our other assets in the Middle East. They can launch aircraft from one of our numerous bases over there. So keep an eye on your television, folks. Things are going to be happening probably soon enough.
Yeah, Barry, we got to take a break, and then we'll come back here to close it out. But we will not come back to close it out. We're going to have to go right up to the top of the hour. But you're going to rejoin us again at 8:35, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But it's been obvious that